objective more than anything else.
Nasi, weigh in. How about yourself? Do you have that in your mind that tomorrow is a free day, so I can go all in?
I definitely do, especially when I was younger. It didn't matter because energy is
right, galore.
Right.
Commentators cursed.
Some players
Prague?
Take a minute or so before they make their first.
Was a very obvious example of this for many years.
That he paused on move one.
He would always wait until the clock is started and then go into like a half a minute pause.
In this way, I could actually envy MVL a bit. He knows when his opponent's playing e4, he's going to play Najdorf. That's easy.
These days he plays other stuff as well. So
but
I'm very happy about the Najdorf today because
exactly
it's a fun opening, and also I get to watch maybe some of the stuff that we looked at together with Prague in action. It would be a fun experience.
So if you need to guess, Peter, what variation of Najdorf do you expect?
I honestly don't know. The young man is
capable of everything, right?
First of all, capable of everything.
Whoa, Fischer, what the Soviets called the Sozin.
Yeah.
But Bobby Fischer really trailblazed this at the top. Bishop c4 and a3. That was my question.
Yeah.
a2,
this
a3.
is, I think, a very modern. All the modern things often are well forgotten old things, and I'm sure people used to do that in Fischer's time as well. But for the longest time, I think the way people you played this line was you play bishop b3, and then you play for a 4 or 5 as quickly as possible in most cases. And I think a3 is signaling this idea of playing a kind of a mix between the Fischer-Sozin and the English attack. Because we are sometimes going to just be playing bishop b3, f3, queen e2, castle long, g4, and so on.
Right.
So we're playing a very English attack type position in spirit, but with the bishop on b3 or a2 as opposed to f1, which I'm not entirely sure how I feel about, because very often that bishop will be kind of restricted by the black pawn chain. If you're not playing for a 4 or 5, the bishop on a2 is often
I'm a little
not
bit confused.
very useful
hasn't
piece.
made a move, but they both left the board.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry to interrupt you, Peter, but the moment MVL left the board, I assumed he had made a move. So I'm refreshing my board, and I can't. I don't see the move, and okay, he obviously adjusting something. But okay, a3, bishop c4, a kind of a modern twist on a decades-old idea. Let me just again emphasize to what Peter was saying is that in the old school, if you will, you would very quickly play bishop to b3, queen e2, f3, g4, or g4, g5 right away and launch an attack. One of the things, not in this particular position, a3, let me do it another way, bishop b3, bishop e7, one of the tactics that exists in the sign. Bobby Fischer would famously sacrifice his bishop on e6, collect a lot of pawns.
I remember I walked into this when I was 6 years old, and never again.
Really? It left a searing impression, did it? Okay.
Lesson learned.
Lesson
Already playing the Najdorf at 6.
Yes, that was my first opening now.
Not even a good old Joko piano, two
Never
knights
played
defense.
e5, no.
Oh my gosh, terrible. a2, a3 on the board. We'll keep an eye on this one. I'm going to go to the other co-leader, and that, of course, is Wesley So and Fabio.
sort.
So bishop e6.
He gave up on f3, and black isn't taking on f3. This is a bit surprising to me.
Didn't twice. We'll see.
Yeah, I
now.
guess rook f3, knight g3, you have to worry about losing the e5 pawn, and you don't feel like you're playing for a win. Not really.
Yeah, MVL has
Yeah, this
accepted.
draw, so this is 3 out of 3, potentially 4 out of 4, and then we have the joy of joys, the opposite color bishop ending, which doesn't seem to be going anywhere.
But
nowhere for 40
moves.
moves. Okay. Well, in that case, pull out the Red Bull. we may be here for a while.
This is a
Either of them can claim the draw now, but yes, MVL's gonna do
This is a
it.
very strange mistake by Duda. I'm talking about a different board, but I'm still trying to understand how you don't play king e7.
Yeah.
Rook c3 and... I mean, this player, they both tried, but there were no mistakes made in this game.
But that was a very complicated position. Those types of positions where you give up a pawn on the king's side and you're trying to figure out if you're supposed to play for mate or for positional compensation because the black queen is misplaced. And then that quite tricky endgame that they were playing out.
I must say that I'm impressed